What's going to happen in the area of immigration if the Republicans capture the White House in 2024? I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Things could get ugly for immigrants. The leading contenders for the Republican nomination for president are trying to outdo each other in just how anti-immigrant they can be in promising to enact draconian immigration laws and policies. In this video, I'm going to tell you where 3 of the top Republican presidential candidates stand on immigration issues so that you'll know where we could be headed in this important policy area. Stick with me to the end of this video because that's when we'll cover the leading candidate, Donald Trump. I'm Brian Manning, and I used to be an asylum officer with the government, but now, as an asylum lawyer, I help immigrants all over the country to secure their future in America through asylum. All right, who are we talking about here? Well, we're gonna look at a few of the leading Republican candidates for president: Ron DeSantis, Vivek Ramaswamy, and Donald Trump. So let's get started. First up, Ron DeSantis, the current governor of Florida, who was once seen as a serious competitor to Donald Trump, but who has slid in the polls as of late. One of the most extreme voices on immigration, DeSantis has pretty much been trying to outdo the governor of another anti-immigrant state, Greg Abbott of Texas, for the title of most hostile place in America for immigrants. DeSantis has championed a bill that came into effect in July that imposes strict restrictions and penalties to deter the employment of undocumented workers in Florida. It also criminalizes the act of bringing undocumented people into Florida, and it requires hospitals to gather data on patients' immigration status, among other measures. Now, like Texas, Florida has been sending migrants to liberal cities in other states, literally shipping them off on a bus to try to look tough on immigration for the Republican base. Now, looking forward, DeSantis has promised that as president, he will finish building the wall on the US-Mexico border that Trump started but didn't complete, increase the number of Border Patrol agents, use military force to secure the border, and defund so-called sanctuary cities. The Florida governor has also said that he will end the DACA program, which provides status to people who were brought to the United States without permission when they were children, and revoke temporary protected status for certain groups. He's also promising to increase the number of deportation flights. DeSantis has pledged to deport people who overstay their visas and to tax remittances from undocumented immigrants. DeSantis is not a proponent of immigration reform. He has said that he is not open to any pathway to citizenship for undocumented immigrants. This, of course, comes as no real surprise. By the way, if you want to maximize your chances for asylum success, then be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell notification so that you don't miss the insights that I share on this channel. Okay, up next, we've got Vivek Ramaswamy. He's an entrepreneur with no government experience who has shot up in the polls recently. And he's actually even more extreme than DeSantis and Trump when it comes to immigration. Ramaswamy has said that he is in favor of deporting all undocumented immigrants regardless of whether they've committed crimes. He's opposed to a pathway to citizenship for undocumented immigrants. And Ramaswamy has said that undocumented immigrants should be deported, not rewarded for breaking the law by entering or remaining in the country without permission. Ramaswamy has called for the construction of a wall on the US-Mexico border that is 30 feet tall and 30 feet deep, and he has also proposed using military force to secure the border. Ramaswamy has called for securing the border by any means necessary, including with military force, and said that resources that the United States has been sending to Ukraine should be employed instead to, quote, protect against the invasion across our southern border, end quote. And that leaves us with former President Trump, who is leading his Republican counterparts by a long shot, meaning he will most likely be facing off against the Democrats for the presidency in 2024. Trump, of course, has a long record on immigration. It will come as no surprise that he is against it. This is the man who basically said Mexican migrants are rapists or criminals, and who enacted the Muslim ban. According to a Washington Post article, Trump talked to his aides about fortifying a border wall with a water-filled trench stocked with snakes or alligators, and he wanted the wall electrified with spikes on top that could pierce human flesh. He has, according to the same report, said that he wanted immigrants who are attempting to illegally cross the border to be shot. Going forward, Trump wants to do much of what Ron DeSantis has called for, which we discussed a minute ago, including finishing the border wall. But for all his bluster and his past actions as president, that drew praise from his anti-immigrant supporters, Trump has said that he is open to a pathway to citizenship for undocumented immigrants who meet certain requirements, such as paying taxes, passing a criminal background check, and learning English. However, he has also said that he would only support a pathway to citizenship if it was coupled with increased border security and enforcement. Trump and other Republican hopefuls have conflated immigration with the drug crisis in the United States, blaming the latter on the former, despite studies showing conclusively that most drugs brought into the United States from Mexico come as part of commercial crossings, rather than being smuggled in on foot across the border. Some have used the drug issue to call for halting immigration altogether. Trump has said he would use the military to impose a naval embargo and use special forces to target cartel operations, blaming them for bringing fentanyl into the United States. Trump said he would call for the death penalty for drug smugglers. In the same vein, Florida's Ron DeSantis said he would use all of the powers available to him as commander-in-chief and send troops to the US-Mexico border to prevent fentanyl smuggling. He added that he would allow the use of deadly force and would consider sending special forces into Mexico to take out cartels by designating them as foreign terrorist organizations. "We're going to use force and we're going to leave them stone cold dead," DeSantis said. So there you have it. That's where leading Republicans stand on immigration. Now, I'll report back on Democratic plans for immigration after the party's nomination is announced in August. Now, of course, President Biden is expected to be the Democratic nominee, but we'll have to wait to get more details on his plans for immigration in a possible second term. If you're ready to take the next step and get help with your asylum case, then call my office today. That number is 713-352-1593. And remember, we help people all over the country, so it doesn't matter where you are. Call us now to schedule an asylum strategy session so that we can help you secure your future in America through asylum. Again, I'm Brian Manning, and it's an honor to serve you in your asylum journey.